the In Touch News CEO. I couldn't think of a better term. I mean, CEO is just right. So often talk about DJ CEO and express my deep and profound appreciations. DJ, cut the music. Listen, in case you don't know, I'm hearing impaired. So, like, when you see me messing around with my head and my gadgets, and sometimes my little cheap ass hearing aid fall out. Look, man, this African working class production is a sign of the times. You know, this is really what the African lives through each and every day. So, you know, it's not that I'm not paying attention to me, but sometimes, you know, I have to have certain head equipment on to hear the phone, and you know, with hearing aids in my ears so I can hear people talking and hear the phone with the headset. So there's a lot of stuff going on around here. I put this headset on. It just makes for you know, an interesting combination, and I have to grapple with it sometimes. So now you know what's happening if you should ever wonder. But yeah, so what I wanted to say is I've developed a habit of expressing my deep and profound appreciation to DJ CEO and Mrs. DJ CEO, a.k.a. Tampa Bay Tammy. And that's not the habit that I'm trying to break. The habit I need to break, that I will break, is I too often neglect right out the gate to thank you for tuning in and watching. Whether you watch live or whether you watch later, I really appreciate you giving the Life Malcolm Show your time and attention. And so I must say thank you and express how much I appreciate you doing that. And that is my promise to you that will be my new habit. I will, along with thanking DJ CEO and Mrs. DJ CEO, a.k.a. Tampa Bay Tammy, I will thank you right out the gate. So I'm your host, Life Malcolm. This is the Life Malcolm Show on In Touch News, where everybody is a star. And I like to say the biggest star is you. And I mean that, especially when you call in and show your star power, and your star. Even if you don't feel like you have star power, show your star potential to everybody who's tuned in and might relate to whatever you have to say or vibe with you. Find the questions you ask or comments you make provocative, maybe entertaining. I know we have some people out here who have some some views on the world that people can appreciate in more ways than one. So definitely want you to call in and share. And I should give you the call-in number. It's 813-444-9588. 813-444-9588. Call up, man. Let's rap a taste. So today, last week I said that today I was going to talk about the Tampa Police Department, and I am. I brought some papers and stuff. Got some papers. And this is not nearly a representation of the type of documentation we have at our disposal to have a powerful discussion about the Tampa Police Department. I ain't coming to talk about the Tampa Police Department in no good way. Matter of fact, I ain't got nothing good to say about them. I tell you what, while we're here together, I haven't done it in a while, but why don't you do it? Why don't you Google Tampa Police Department apologizes? Google that and see if you can find where the Tampa Police Department has offered an apology to the African working class for the brutality and violence that the Tampa Police Department has heaped upon the African working class community for as long as I can remember and before. So, yeah, see, because they've never apologized. And we're going to talk about that. But you know how we do on the Life Malcolm Show. We like to do something a little light, and then we get into the heavy. So my something light, a few ideas. So yeah, a few ideas on the something light. The other day, did I already talk about this? Oh, DJ cut the music. Look at me. I'm so caught up in changing my habits of not thanking you that I almost forgot my habit of thanking my main man, Bezel, behind the boards, doing his thing, making it look good, making it sound good. And so really want to appreciate my man Bezel for coming up in here, dedicated and sharp. And we got a good program for you tonight. It's going to involve a lot of, on-screen stuff, and so we're gonna see. We're gonna see how on point Bezel is. We might have to take our thank yous back if he put my baby picture up there. We're gonna have to take the thank yous back. But something like, so you could tell me if I already talked about this, Bezel, because it would have been recent, because I just saw it recently. I ordered some food via Uber Eats, and I went outside, came out the office to get my food, and my Uber driver, the other Uber driver bringing my food, it was in a car. They show you on the little Uber Eats app who's coming to the location, so you can, I guess, be prepared and aware of who it is, so it's not some creep doing creepy things. So, I knew that my Uber driver was in a car. But while I was outside waiting for my Uber driver to pull up, an Uber, can't call him a driver, an Uber rider pulled up on a bicycle. Have I talked about this?
No, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah. The Uber Eats deliverer pulled up on a bicycle with a bag, I don't know, I guess about 3 feet square. 3 feet, I guess 3 feet cubed. 3 feet wide, 3 feet tall, 3 feet deep, strapped to his back. And I said, well, I'll be damned. Ain't no way in hell that I can ever feel good about giving some able-bodied person anything. Can't give them nothing. No. When I've had this philosophy for a very long time. As you know, I'm an African internationalist, and Chairman Omali Yeshitela is my leader, my teacher. And one time when I had the opportunity to do security for the chairman, I'm guarding him. And, this is early on when I first, became strong in the African People's Socialist Party. So we're talking decades ago. And so I'm in Oakland. It's my first assignment doing security for the chairman. I'm in Oakland, and this homeless guy who appeared to be homeless, African, came up to the chairman and I and asked for some money. And the chairman told the African, I can't help you. And I didn't understand at that point in time, I was strong in the movement, meaning I had, solidified myself as, a good cadre, a good soldier. But I still had, some political development that I had to do. And we are still at this point today, I still have more political development to do. But at that point, my political development, consisted mostly of asking questions, a lot of questions. And so being a part of the African People's Socialist Party, the Uhuru movement, self-determination, each one, touch one touch, all this kind of, stuff that we believe in, I didn't understand why the chairman refused to give this African something, anything. The African asked for some money for some food. And so I asked the chairman, and the chairman was clear. It was like, the African, if we just give people stuff, give the African working class stuff because they ask, then the African working class would never learn to struggle. And we need every member of the African working class to learn to love to struggle, because it's going to require struggle to overturn this oppressive colonial capitalist situation in which we live. It made perfect sense. Political education done. Development occurred right then. And so I've had this philosophy for a very long time. I don't just give African stuff or anybody. But man, and it was always for that political reason. But now there's a material in the real, not saying that the political reason wasn't material, but there's an example I can point to right there and say, look, that African who does what other drivers do in a car, on a bike, isn't with a bag on his back, is a tangible example of the reason why it don't make no sense for me to give anybody anything. And I guess some people might say, well, you need a phone to do Uber Eats. Maybe you do. I don't know. But I can tell you what, if you can figure out how to get a bicycle and an Uber Eats bag and you can figure out how to get a phone too. Hell, get somebody to loan you a phone, donate you a phone. Phones. Look, get your phone and go to Joe Haskins. Not that I'm promoting Joe Haskins. I just know they used to sell used bicycles for cheap. I don't know how much they cost now, but back when I used to ride bicycles, which was a long time ago, way long time ago. But you can go to Joe Haskins and get a used 10-speed for like $10, and you can get you a bicycle, get you a Boost phone. Do they still have Boost down here by them no more? Is that still? You can get you a Boost phone or something like that, and and you can work. And after I saw that gentleman on the bicycle working at Uber Eats job, I was absolutely positively certain that where there is a wheel, there's a way. Not a wheel, get it? A wheel, bicycle wheel. Where there's a wheel, there's a way. Anyway, all right. So we're about to go to break, and when we get back from break, we gonna be talking about the bandits at the Tampa Police Department, their violence and their cover-ups. Right here on the Life Malcolm Show. See you on the other side. So we're going to go with the picture of me.
Ask Ricky, you need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the leg work for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay, call Ricky, he coming. He taking kids state of Florida, grab a pen of sundown. 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and giving you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Hi, this is Pastor John T. Warner, Foundation Fellowship Christian Church. We are super excited. The date has finally arrived this Sunday at 10 a.m. at the Holiday Inn Express off of Bruce B. Downs for our inaugural worship service. A couple of things you might want to know: that we will adhere to all COVID-19 guidelines and masks are required. But we're super excited that you will be joining us. Tell a friend, bring a friend, but most of all, meet us there at 10 a.m. at the Holiday Inn Express off of Bruce B. Downs for Foundation Fellowship Christian Church inaugural worship service. God bless you and look forward to seeing you there.
Hi, this is Angela Birdsong, and during the week, I'm affectionately known as the Medicare Lady. Do not try to navigate Medicare without me. Please call me at 813-476-4837. I also do life insurance, and I will help people who are Medicare, Medicaid. Once again, 813-476-4837.
4837. All right. Welcome back, world. We're going to jump right back into it, but just have to say one more time, welcome to the Life Malcolm Show right here on Touch News Radio, where everybody is a star and the biggest star is you. I am your host, Life Malcolm. You can call in. This is a call-in show. The phone number is 813-444-9588. And again, after this whole thing came up about the Tampa Police Department attacking African people by arresting them or charging them with sometimes minor crimes or what have you, and then reporting those charges to the people's landlords, mostly African people, to their landlords, and those people ending up getting kicked out of housing because of the arrest, and then the Tampa Police Department trying to kind of wipe their hands clean, like, oh, ain't nobody doing nothing. We just call the landlord. That's all we do. It's up to the landlord if they're a victim or whatever, man, whatever kind of foolishness they come up with in defense of their aggression against the people, right? So based on that kind of conversation, I wanted to have a conversation with you today about the Tampa Police Department. And when I say today, that's not to say that it can't continue on. It might. It's enough stuff that we can have more than just one show about the Tampa Police Department's brutality and its propensity to cover up their dastardly deeds. So first, I'll tell you a little bit about how this all got started. Bezel, can you show them the picture of me? I'm gonna show you. My man Bezel gonna put on the screen this picture of me holding a sign. This white woman named Jennifer Porter. Y'all might remember Jennifer Porter. She was a school teacher, and she worked, I don't know, I think with, I can't remember, that's been so long, but I want to say with middle school children. But anyway, she was a school teacher. School teacher is supposed to, I guess you would expect that a school teacher would have some kind of appreciation for children, some kind of, love of children. And this school teacher, though, however, one night, right over on 22nd Street near Fletcher Avenue, ran over 4 African children. Ran them over and killed 2. Say that one more time. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. She ran over 4 African children, killed 2 of them. The news reports at that time said she dragged one of the Africans down the street for several hundred feet and separated the young African's skull from his spine and killed him. That was Durante Caldwell and Brian Wilkins, the oldest of the 4, the oldest of the siblings. Lisa Wilkins's first child was a courageous young man, jumped in front of the cars, tried to save his sister and his brother, and ended up sacrificing his life. But this school teacher left the scene. This happened in 2004. So this has been a long time ago. You see me with this sign. It's a long time ago. You can probably tell my hair's short. Long time ago. I used to have long hair before I just cut it recently. But yeah, long time ago, 2004, I was in this work. This white woman left the scene, went to her mama and daddy's house and parked the car, and the mom and the daddy and Jennifer, I think they said Jennifer was so broken up that she couldn't participate in the process of cleaning up the car. But the mama and the daddy, as in the garage, cleaning off the car, pulling scalp meat out the bumper and hair off the grill and what have you, and essentially getting rid of any evidence that Jennifer Porter killed these children. And so Jennifer Porter wouldn't come forward on her own. She came forward with an attorney, a very esteemed attorney in the Tampa Bay area named Barry Cohen, and she had a press conference and said that, yeah, I think I ran him over, but I don't want to go to jail right now. And the Hillsborough County Sheriffs were so terrified of Barry Cohen after what he did to them for the the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Eisenberg fiasco, they wouldn't come and touch Jennifer Porter until Jennifer Porter was ready to do a walkthrough. I think the newspaper reports at that time said she wasn't in jail but for 30 minutes. So it was this long ago. It was in this context of violence against our community and law enforcement inaction, not inaction, but INACTION, one word. They're in action. They're doing nothing. That sprung on the scene under the leadership of the African People's Socialist Party and Chairman Omali Yeshitela. I took that sign that you see, or that you saw me holding, and I put that sign on the back of my Chevy Tahoe, the back windows, the Chevy Tahoe that had cargo doors. I put it on the back window, and I would just, at that time I worked construction, and I would ride up and down the highways from Hillsborough County to Pasco County, Polk County, Hernando County. I think that's about as far as we went. And all over the place, everywhere I went, I had this sign asking the surrounding Tampa Bay community, Pinellas County, the surrounding Tampa Bay community, why ain't this white woman in jail for killing our children? So as you can imagine, that sign and the fact that I rode with it up and down the highway, I didn't just put it on in the morning, it stayed on the truck. It stayed on the truck. So everywhere I went, whether I was at the grocery store, doctor's appointment, what have you, is there for everybody to grapple with, Africans and North American white people alike. Had to grapple with that question. And so, of course, it got attention, sometimes desired attention, other times, attention not so desired. But that's how it began. And so, again, I'm an African internationalist, member of the African People's Socialist Party at this time, and Chairman Omali Yeshitela taught us at that time that it was our responsibility as party members and as members of the International People's Democratic Uhuru movement to watch the police. Chairman Omali Yeshitela implored us, members of the party and the Uhuru movement, to go to our communities and carry out a watch the police campaign. So I went and bought a video camera, and Chairman said, if you don't have a video camera, get a still picture taking camera, STILL, still picture taking camera, and use that to watch the police. Whenever you see the police engaged with somebody in your community, an African in your community, stop what you're doing if you can and watch the police, because the chairman, way back then, almost 20 years ago, had the vision, the insight, the wisdom, if you will, the scientific understanding to know, long before cell phones and cell phone cameras, had the scientific understanding to know that when and if Africans could expose the police, no matter where we no matter where we were around the country, if we could expose the police with facts and evidence that other people can see, then people would, ordinary African people, working class people, and white people who can find solidarity with the African struggle, could unite with us based on seeing what African people had to suffer through every day at the hands of the police. And so I began this Watch the Police campaign. I went and bought me a little video handy cam, and that put me on the police radar. We got a few minutes to go before we go to break, but I'm going to read you something about the police that I understood a long time ago because of the leadership of Chairman Omali Yeshitela. This comes from a December 10th, 2009 City Council meeting, Tampa City Council meeting. And the meeting at this point was so I don't remember this is not the one I thought I had, but this is a good one too though. This is important. Because it'll tell you something about how the police chief at that time in 2009, and you know who it was, you can look it up, Tampa Police Chief, December 10th, 2009. I'll tell you something about how the police chief viewed the African community. And so a city councilwoman opened up the meeting. I'm just going to read through the transcript on our way to break. But City Councilwoman Gwen Miller said, "Good morning, Council. It is my honor today to present our Officer of the Month, which is Detective Melanie Holder. I'm going to turn it over to the Chief, and she will tell us why Melanie is the Officer of the Month." And so this is the Chief's words. The Chief of the Police Department says this: "Good morning, Council. As it is every month, it is my honor to present the Officer of the Month for December 2009. Melanie Holder is a detective in the Sex Crimes and Family Violence Unit at the Tampa Police Department. She's held that assignment for quite some time, which I personally think is the most difficult assignment in the police department because, one, you have to deal with these victims whose lives have been destroyed. Then the chief tells the whole world how she feels about ordinary people who are suspected of crimes. And you also have to deal with the worst elements of society with suspects and defendants." Yeah. So not even convicted of a crime yet, just accused, suspected of a crime. And the chief's outlook, the way she teaches her foot soldiers about just suspects who have the presumption of innocence until proven guilty, according to the United States Constitution. She says that suspects are the worst elements of society. Suspects and defendants, the worst elements of society. And that colors the way the Tampa Police Department has dealt with the African community for as long as I can remember. And we're going to jump right into that when we get back right after this. This is the Life Malcolm Show, y'all. This is Life.
Angela Birdsong with Tampa Bay Politics. And not only can you catch us on InTouchNews.com every Wednesday at 11 a.m., we now have a website at TampaBayPoliticsPodcast.com. We are on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Stitcher, which you can log in at any time and listen to Tampa Bay Politics.
Cancer affects everyone, but minority populations are often hit hardest. Moffitt Cancer Center is working to address the barriers that keep some groups from getting the care they need. African Americans develop cancer at a younger age, have more aggressive cancers, and experience worse outcomes than the general population.
While cancer treatment is evolving with precision medicine, who is being left behind? We know for many decades that some groups experience a greater burden of cancer than others. We can prevent it, we can detect it early. It's very beatable when we find it early. I have worked with cancer patients during their treatment. All cancer patients have courage.
So my treatment was about 18 months. I had 3 cancers and 7 surgeries. But my son told me, like, "Mom, you're the strongest person that I know." Moffitt saved my life.
During COVID-19, Moffitt is a safe place for your cancer care. Call now to schedule an appointment.
All right. Welcome back to the Life Malcolm Show right here on In Touch News. This is your host, Life Malcolm, and I really want to appreciate you tuning in as we talk about the Tampa Police Department, their violence against the African community, their unapologetic violence against the African community, and their lies about it. So you see an image now of a kickball game. This is kickball game. kickball game in Robles Park. These African sisters, and I've talked about it before here, these African sisters got together, organized themselves to do a kickball game. They bought jerseys and had outfits, and they formed teams from. And most of these teams, these sisters formed these teams. Let me say it differently. These sisters who formed these teams were members of Tampa housing projects, and so the games would go from one park to another park that was near some housing project. So like Robles Park, when it was the home game for that team, they would play the game at Robles Park. Then they would go to 18th Street Park for housing projects, not too located on that east side, if you will, and then west side we were at the Riverfront Park. So it bounced around. It was a beautiful thing, but police always showed up in tactical gear with air guns. You saw them, the earlier picture, you saw them on horseback, riding around, nudging the people. Africans who just came out to play, sisters who came out to play kickball, children who came out to watch their mothers play kickball, African men who came out to cheer their spouses and girlfriends as they played kickball. And the Tampa Police Department would come through with this incredible reign of terror, this show of force, and I want to talk about this one African too. If you can put the next picture up, this is Greg Pryor. This African, at least this, based on this picture, he looks like he is Greg Pryor. Now, I can't be sure 100% because you don't have any identifying marks, but this guy looks just like the guy. I'm talking about the guy all the way in the on the left with his hat to the back. This is Greg Pryor. Let me tell you about Greg Pryor. This is the African who gunned down Javon Neal over there in Central Court Apartments. And we're going to talk about that. Matter of fact, we're going to carry this on to a part two. But let me tell you what the Tampa Police Department did when Greg Pryor, liar Greg Pryor, that's what he is, liar Greg Pryor. The Tampa Police Department fired Greg Pryor not for gunning down Javon Neal, but for crashing his truck on the interstate, leaving the scene of the crash on foot, and then lying about whether he drove the truck when at the time the truck had crashed. And so since they found him to be a liar, they fired him. But the reality is, when he claimed to this community that he gunned down Javon Neal because Javon had a gun and pointed the gun at him, when the reality is Javon was in the process of throwing the gun over the banister, getting rid of the gun so he would not get shot. Liar Greg Pryor told this community that Javon pointed the gun at him, killed Javon, and then the Tampa Police Department, its chief included, backed up the story, and then has such disdain and disregard for the African community to prove the point, gonna show us something that's supposed to look like a picture Javon. Look like a picture of Javon with something that looks like a gun pointed to the floor. Not even some kind of image or video even that would justify them, this liar Greg Pryor murdering Javon Neal. And the thing about it is, I went to Central Court Apartments the next day, and right there in that very spot where liar Greg Pryor shot and killed Javon Neal, the premises was outfitted with 360-degree dome cameras. And you know what the police gonna tell me? She gonna say, because I asked her, why you show this blurry, fuzzy picture of something that might be a gun pointed at the ground to justify this liar Greg Pryor, who had just killed an unarmed man just 9 months before shooting and killing Javon Neal? Why would you not show the African community the video? Better yet, show the African community, if not better yet, but if you won't show a video, at least show a picture, from the camera of Javon Neal with the gun pointed at the cop. This chief gonna tell me that she didn't have no control over that. All right, okay, so let's go to the next picture. So what happened after we began. I just wanted to show you, who they had in the park. They had Liar Greg Pryor in the park, along with these other thugs who call themselves police. Let's put up the other picture. So as I began my campaign of watching the police started their campaign of watching me. Yeah, the police started watching me. The picture you see is a picture of me while I'm out. This is at the kickball game too, mind you. As a matter of fact, you might have seen the same guy in the picture with Greg Pryor, or maybe no. I think you saw him in the picture right before Greg Pryor. He was walking with it. So, at the kickball game, I'm there, myself and a few other comrades, to provide some kind of security as best we could, because we believe that we have the right to defend ourselves, the right to protect ourselves, the right to govern and police ourselves. And so we out there doing this work. And when the police engage with African people, we would pull out our cameras, those of us who had video cameras, and then those of us who had still picture cameras would take the pictures. And these cops, they started their campaign of watching me, watching them. And they would try to, they would do all kinds of things to attack me because I led this Watch the Police campaign. And so, one of the things they did, they had this one cop. Yeah, that's another cop watching me. Let's go to Collar, though. I want to show Collar. So one day, you're going to see a picture of this cop, soon sergeant. He's a sergeant. Greg Collar, like dog collar, but it's spelled Coller, but it's like, pronounced like dog collar. And leave him there for a minute. So this woodpecker, you look at me, look like a woodpecker. Look at his nose. One day I'm in my neighborhood, my community. Same year, 2009, like it was there about something like, let me see. Trying to think. Yeah, I think my baby was turning 13. Yeah, not my baby, but my oldest living child now. Aisha was turning 13. So it must have been 2010. And I'm walking from my home to the gym that was in Temple Park Plaza at that time, which is about 1.5 miles away. And I got on my camouflage jacket, my sweatpants, because I'm trying to burn these calories and fat. And one of the two ways that you get rid of fat is through exhaling and through sweating. That's like how fat fat goes away. And so I'm in my community walking, and I walk to the gym, and now I'm on my way back from the gym, and I see dog collar, Greg Collar. I'm walking north on Nebraska. He's driving south on Nebraska, and his eye in an unmarked car. His eyes meet my eyes, and while he's looking at me, I'm looking at him. And as he passes by, I'm still looking at him, because I know police in this country will jump out and kill you, especially if you live in Tampa. Police always, if they don't kill you, they'll beat you. What's my man name? Alfred Powers got hit with a stick. It's public record. I ain't telling his business. He walking, he walking, and since he had a stick, the police took the stick, hit him with the stick, and they ended up paying him some money. But police will jump out on you and do things to you, in Tampa and elsewhere. But I know they'll do it here, and so I'm keeping my eye on Woodpecker here, to make sure that he don't have no plans of jumping out on me. And lo and behold, this guy spun his car around and pulled me over, put the lights on. I'm walking. He put the lights on. I'm just walking right there by the Centro Asturiano. He pulls me over right there and tells me he pulled me over because I looked odd. Yeah, not because I committed a crime, but not because there was some call of suspicious activity in the area at that time, and even now I don't loiter, jaywalk, panhandle, solicit. I wasn't doing nothing. Walking home from the gym, exercising, and he gonna tell me I look odd in the community that I had lived in at that point for almost 14 years, right? I look odd. And so, yeah, all right. So we got 2 minutes. I'm gonna tell you what his supervisor said. So yeah, his supervisor says he says my government name. Then he says AKA Brother Life has made several other complaints. What do you say? Okay. Brother Life has made several other complaints against Tampa police officers. Brother Life's manner of dress and his actions prior to and when confronted by Sergeant Dogcollar appeared to have been orchestrated in an attempt to invoke a negative police response, as if they have any other kind of response. Upon being detained, Brother Life made a telephone call and then began to make inflammatory comments to the cops on the scene. A short time later, other people arrived to photograph and videotape this police encounter. However, no one other than Brother Life gave statements to Internal Affairs, and no photographic evidence of this encounter was submitted. Sergeant Dogcollar was doing his due diligence as a police officer. He recognized a suspicious person, and he confronted that person. His stop, detention, and pat down of Brother Life was legal and within policy. When asked, Brother Life informed Sergeant Collar that his identification was in his left front pocket, and Sergeant Dogcollar removed the identification from that location because he had the reasonable belief that Brother Life had given his implied consent for the removal. Therefore, I found the violation of manual regulations, blah, 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 failure to comply, not sustained. Unlawful search and seizure, not sustained. That came from Ronald McMullen. That's the African who was running for sheriff, who ran for sheriff this past election. And I'm so glad he didn't win, not because he wrote this atrocious report, but because if he had won, many Africans would have thought that meant something because they had some kind of chicken-eating Negro in the sheriff's seat. But he wasn't nothing then, he ain't nothing now, and covered up for the Tampa Police Department and their viciousness against African people. I just wanted to give you my background. When we come back, we're going to show you an egregious example. We got some video, and I think, we're going to do that when we come back. This is the Life Malcolm Show, y'all. See you on the other side of the break.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
In Touch Radio.
This is Joel Sylvain
and Kevin Carr,
and we're with Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives,
influencers
share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Come join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Power Moves
on In Touch Radio.
All right, man. Welcome back to the Life Malcolm Show. So, now you got this background about why I was in the park on this day. This is June 2010. It's Father's Day. June 2010. I'm going to tell you about the Tampa Police Department. And, you know, straight up, man, an hour is not long enough to talk about these people. We might run this all in November, because I know y'all expected much more, and I have much more to give. But I thought it important to give you some background about why I'm in the park and how important it is that we have cameras watching these people. So this is what happened. We in the park for Father's Day, and the children are playing, you know, fathers are playing with their children, and the children are in the little bouncy house doing their thing, and the Tampa Police Department thugs roll up into Robles Park, and while children are inside the bouncy house, they pull the plug on the compressor, so now the bouncy house is collapsing on the children inside the damn bouncy house. And so this one brother, courageous young African named Rashad Brown, walks up to the police with a notepad and said, man, let me get your name and your badge number. And, you know, you just going to unplug the thing while the children in the bounce house. So, you know, the young man standing up for his community, encouraged by, you know, I'm sure seeing community organizers do the same. So he felt good. And we got cameras on the whole thing, right? And so the police, they grabbed him up, put him in the police car and all that. And you're gonna see the video, but I want to read for you first what they wrote on their report. And they went to court and told this same lie to a judge. They said the defendant was inside the city park and became belligerent and loud, causing a large crowd to gather. And so now he became belligerent and loud and caused a large crowd to gather. And when asked for his ID 5 times, he refused. And the African asked him again, and he refused. And after several attempts to put his arms behind his back in order to arrest him, the defendant pushed and pulled away from the police, defeating the police attempts to handcuff him. And then the defendant was finally handcuffed, and he refused to get in the police car after several prompts. And then he was disorderly in front of 20, 30 children, disturbing the peace. All right, so that's their narrative. They went to court and said that this man was loud, belligerent, caused a large crowd to gather. They feared for their safety, so they had to grab him and arrest him. And when he took him to the car, he refused to get in. Bezel. See for yourself. See if it matches up. Play the video. Okay. Yeah. They can hear me? So now he's, you know, they just pulled the plug on the bounce house. And everybody's like, man, what are you doing? Why are you, why did you pull the plug on the bounce house? Why did you see the bounce house? All of them. They just pulled the plugs on all the compressors. And there were children inside at the time. You might even go to see some children. They trying to get the children out in the back bounce house. And so, you're going to see a brother walk up. This is me with the camera. I'm holding the camera. And so you're going to see a brother come into view and approach the police. I ain't do no editing in this. Yeah, because I want you to see the children still trying to get out the bounce house. So now you see these two Tampa police thugs over here. You're going to see a brother walk up to him. And that's going to be Brother Rashad Brown. Here he comes. So Brother Rashad walks up to him. I wasn't really good at the camera game, I guess. I was trying to watch them aim him. So, okay. Where's the brother?
Come on, dog.
Oh, and this is all this police presence is every day. It was an everyday thing for them at the park. And we're trying to do our thing, just celebrate, have a good time. And so, my bad, I thought Rashad was already there. I thought I saw him walking. Maybe he's trying to get something. He gonna come in.
Y'all know the kids still in there.
But I don't want you to miss anything. This is the kind of chaos these cops cause.
Janaea!
So mind you, they say Rashad became loud and belligerent, causing a large crowd to gather around them, and that's why they took action. But you're going to see it quite differently here in just a second. It's been a long time since I saw this video. I didn't realize it was so much space between. I would have did it better. That's not on my man Bezel, that's on me. But it's cool. Keep trying to fast forward. Here you go. This is my man Rashad.
He the one snatched the card.
What's your name and badge number?
He snatched the card while the kids were still in there.
They don't want to give it to him, so he's reading it for himself. I'm within earshot, so I can hear what's going on. And so that's all he's doing, just getting in the badge. Now remember, the report said he became loud and belligerent and caused a large crowd to gather. They tried to take that man's property, and when he refused to let it go, they yoked him up. They say he tried to defeat their control several times. Remember that? And nobody called all these police for nothing. They just there because Africans gathered together having a good time. And this is how they do this. Drag them over to the car. Got them all bent over on the car. All right, let's go to the next one. It's good. This one's good. This might be the second time we do a video on that. I promise you, I'm gonna be super smoother. No, stay right here. Don't go nowhere. Stay right here. So you see, they drag them over here to the car, and I think that's where we go away. All right, bet. So let's run a second.
Yes, could I have a supervisor or the mayor or the police department out there at Rover Park Project?
So we recorded this interaction, and this is back in like I said, this is 2010, back in the days of CDs and DVDs and what have you. And so I done figured out how to get the video, I done off my camera and onto the DVD, because back then I still had the little tape. You pop the tape in, but I had a mini DV. I was kind of fancy. It was DVD quality, mini DV. That was, y'all might say, of course it's not HD, but back then it was pretty good. It was pretty good for the time. So I had to figure out how to get it on DVD for the brother, and I did that. And the brother had court, and so now we in court, and the police testified. I got there late, because I was still like right to the last minute trying to figure out how to get this thing to play, and I finally figured out. I've been working on it for days and got it right, and so I told the brother, man, go to court, don't say nothing, we'll be there, we're gonna just let the DVD speak for us. So get there, and I got there just in time to hear the police tell these lies, the same kind of lie that they put in the report. But I don't know if you know, when the police write the report, the police got a supervisor liar that doctors up the report for them to make sure that the lie is real tight. They do that, and I'm gonna show it to you. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a series. I'm gonna show you the Tampa Police Department and their viciousness and their lies and cover-ups. I'm gonna show you. This is example number one. This is where it first started. This is where I first learned just how boldly these people lie in court to a judge. They told the judge that this African was loud and belligerent and caused a whole large crowd to gather around them, and they were in fear of their lives, and he began pushing and pulling. But you didn't see that. You didn't see that. And the judge was about ready to find Rashad guilty until we walked in. And when we walked in, we said, Rashad, tell her to get the TV. And he said, Judge, can you get the TV? And so Rashad didn't really know what we had up. He just told me to just follow the lead, right? And so he said, get the TV. And so we got the TV in. We put the DVD in, like this, hoping that it worked, and played the video that you just saw, the two videos that you just saw, and the judge saw those videos. And she looked at those cops, and she told them, y'all put me in a very, very bad place. Very, very, very bad position. Very bad position. She didn't call them liars, but she wanted to. She said, you put me in a very, very bad position. No, what you told me is not reflected on this video. Nothing what you said to me that led to these charges. They charged the brother with a crime. Nothing, I think it was resisting arrest without violence and obstruction and some stuff that they always throw on Africans when we stand up for ourselves and for our community, right? And the judge said, very, very, very bad place. And not guilty on all charges and let the brother Rashad go. And I tell you, when you look at Rashad, I don't know what you think you see. See a brother in a T-shirt, locks, in the projects, look like he ready for whatever. Guess how many arrests that brother has under his name on the Hillsborough County Court docket? 1. That one that you just witnessed this evening. Tarnished his record for nothing. Not for nothing, not for anything legitimate. As if anything they do is legitimate. So that goes without saying. But for something that was blatantly illegitimate, just flat out lied in the report, took it to court, lied to the judge, and that's just the beginning. I got some more of this for you when we come back next week on the Life Malcolm Show. I just really want to appreciate you listening. I hope you learning something, because it's important that we began to gain black community control of the police. And I need to say this. Look, go to the Black is Back Coalition website. It's blackisbackcoalition.org, and sign up, register for the Black Community Control of Police march on D.C. and the conference. We have a march on D.C. on the 6th and a conference on the 7th. You ought to register, blackisbackcoalition.org. Free all political prisoners, free all prisoners of war, and black community control of the police. So go register. If you can, man, join us in D.C. I got some details for that too. I'll leave some comments in the thread here, and you can hook up, man. You ought to come to D.C. But listen, this has been the Life Malcolm Show. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate you, DJ Bezel in the building, doing his thing behind the boards, man. It looked real clean. All right, y'all. To be continued.